right, here with Rick to go over his team and the offseason and his preseason rankings and all that good stuff. I said I would only say it once. I'm only going to say it once. I saved my Saquon jersey for you. Almost wore it for K Migs because of the you should trade him, but I saved it for you. It's okay. He's a ring now. He's safe. He's safe. Micah Parsons is next. Cam, hopefully, and maybe Terry McLaurin too. Why not? Everybody can come on over. Have you seen the memes that are pro Giants right now? That's like it's like a picture of Terry McLaurin, and then a picture of Micah, and then a picture of Saquon because he's part of the Trump like 5 players that are like advising him on things, and then it's like the Giants are like we're winning something because there's no controversy right now for you guys. So that's nice at least.
Not, but
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to find it. It is much better than I described it because, it's kind of how memes work, I think. But, how's your off-season overall been, though? You just got back from a trip into the city, which sounds fun. But how has your off-season overall been? Have you been plugged in, unplugged, somewhere in between?
Yeah, I'd say a bit less than normal, but yeah, in between.
Yeah. I also feel like it's been less than normal for me and a lot of people. I don't really know why that is. Like, I'm not insanely plugged in like during the offseason generally, but I feel like it's been a bigger tick down. And I even mentioned this in another episode. Even our league, I feel like has been a bit quieter than normal too, which is nice. Like I don't mind it, especially like if it's gonna be quiet. This is the time of year. I almost like the way the NBA does their offseason is so interesting in comparison to the NFL. Like NBA, like the finals ended, and then I was like on Reddit, and it was like, oh, the Sixers got this guy in the draft. I'm like, the finals just ended, and now like the summer league is happening right now. Like I guess the NBA just doesn't ever stop if you're super deep into that stuff, but I am not, and I appreciate kind of some quiet time. So let's just roll into your preseason power ranking. So your projected finish in the division, locked into toilet bowl, locked into playoffs, and championship predictions. Do you have any guesstimates, estimates? You're kind of in what is slightly being considered the division of death that Cam has tried to remake. Any expectations for kind of where the league has you finishing within your division?
I'm gonna say almost unanimously 4th. I'm gonna guess maybe like 1 or 2 jerks put me in 3rd, just to mess with the others.
Do you know where you put yourself? Do you remember where you put yourself?
I think I put myself 4th.
You were pretty much spot on. So 10 teams saying that you're in 4th place, 2 saying you're in 3rd. I don't recall where they put their 4th place with that voting. I imagine it was to Morgan, but I don't remember. And his episode's not out yet. It comes out from when we're recording today. I think like tomorrow's tomorrow, which I'm sure has a name that I just don't know of. But yeah, so most of the league kind of thinking you're in 4th place, and you think that kind of fits your team and where your head is at going into this.
I mean, yeah, like you said, this division is pretty strong. I'm definitely not on the level of Cam or Chase. Closer to Morgan, but his team is still, I think, has better players overall than mine. So, yeah, I would say 4th seems appropriate.
Now, just for funsies and to, why not cause controversy? So when I talked to Cam and Chase early on, they were very much proponents of Morgan is close to us, and we think that we're better, but he's close. Like they kind of say, hey, it's a 3-horse race, and Morgan's kind of the one that's has a chance, but we're a bit ahead of him. Do you kind of see it that way too, or when you're describing it, you think it's the 2 of them, and then a drop to you to Morgan, and then you're close? Or do you see it the same way Cam and Chase do?
I would say the gap between me and Morgan is wider than the gap between Morgan and the other 2.
Okay.
But I don't quite have Morgan at the same level as Cam and Chase.
Okay. Yeah, and that's what they were saying. I was just hoping we could make fun of Morgan for a second, but I guess we'll be nice to Morgan.
I hear his team is dying a slow death. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. It definitely. Definitely dying a slow death. At least he's going to be bleeding himself with these $1 to $2 cap cuts when he starts having to trim people from his roster and stuff like that. But He's got 26 people already signed in the next year, which is impressive. Assuming all 26 of those are, starters in play and all that good stuff. So, what about the toilet bowl aspect of things? Your team has kind of gotten some hype as an up and coming team. Do you think that the league feels confidently enough to say that, you're not a lock for the toilet bowl? It doesn't mean that you wouldn't make it. Doesn't mean that we've talked with, Vic's interview comes out, so you haven't seen Vic's, but, with me and then with Nate, we're both like, yeah, we're toilet bowl. Vic is saying the same thing. Do you kind of think you're possibly a lock for that fourth spot, or how do you think the league feels?
I mean, I would say, yes, I'm a lock, but I feel like depending on how things go for some teams, like there could be a possibility where injuries sort of rack someone else's roster and somehow I slip out of the toilet bowl and into the extra pick or something. But I would guess like in terms of a lock for the toilet bowl, probably something like 2/3, 3/4 of the league said that.
One team. So,
Okay.
it's interesting, and that's kind of what I alluded to at the beginning of this. Like, I feel like there's a lot to unpack with this and talk about, because 10 teams have you finishing in fourth place. None of them, except for one, comfortable enough to say, but yeah, he's probably in the toilet bowl. I almost wonder if you said you're in the toilet bowl. Do you remember if you put your stuff? You did?
No.
Okay.
Well, because that's the thing, right? It's not. Are you probably gonna be? It's are you a
it's
lock,
are you for
right?
sure? Yeah, and
Right.
I think that
And
this
so-
is really like not a respectful thing, but like it's really respectful. Like, you look at teams like the Implications, you look at teams like Escobar's Hippos, you look at teams like Radio's Offsides, who are getting lots of votes for third and fourth, and they're getting lots of toilet bowl bracket votes. And then here you are with one of the lowest toilet bowl bracket votes at 1. In fact, teams that so Implications got 9, Rudy got 8, Escobar's Hippos got 11. You and the Luck Cardinals are the only two to receive another vote for a lock in the toilet bowl with 1 each. So, yeah, I think that it kind of speaks to the fact that you could do more if you decided to push, but it almost doesn't feel like maybe it's the right time. That kind of brings us to the playoff, where no one thinks that you're locked in the playoffs, and then, of course, no one thinks that you're locked for the championship, which is kind of to be expected. But this is a fun report card, scorecard, or whatever you want to call it, to look at, because usually there's a lot of numbers, and one of the two sides in here we've got that not happening. Does it give you any concern? Morgan kind of took some shots on his show, which you haven't seen yet, but you're not getting spoiler alerts too, of your quarterback situation. I think he called both of your quarterbacks on your roster busts. Any concern as to what the future could look like, because you've got, I think he said, 2 busts and a paraplegic or a retirement home quarterback, something along those lines in regards to Russ. But does that give you any concern, knowing that generally in Superflex, the quarterback is a foundation? Teams have you pegged as an up-and-comer, but there are still maybe some question marks at your quarterback position.
I mean, I would not declare anyone a bust yet, but not exactly trending very well.
Yeah.
That said, I'm certainly not giving up on anyone yet. But part of the plan is to have at least one young, cheap QB for the future push, right? Ideally 2, but at least 1. So, if neither A Rich or Caleb pan out, that kind of sucks. If one of them busts, like, not the end of the world. So,
yeah. And it's not like you don't have picks coming, right? 26 is projected to be a good quarterback class. You've got your first and Cam's first. As we've talked about in previous recordings, the expectation is that it is me, Rick, Nate, and the toilet bowl, and then kind of the theory of whichever team is fourth kind of rolls through the other 3. So you are technically tracking to be picking at 101 again at a strong quarterback class. I also think it's worth mentioning, and I will make it very clear. I am not an Anthony Richardson guy. I buy him cheap where I can. We've talked about this. I buy him cheap where I can, but I wouldn't be excited to have him if I drafted him. He's played effectively a rookie season. Caleb has played effectively a rookie season. So like this is their sophomore season is the way that I try to look at Anthony Richardson in terms of when I'm evaluating him. It really is just going to be interesting to see who comes out of this training camp battle between him and Daniel Jones, because if you can't beat Daniel Jones, it's a little scary, but I also don't think
There's no battle there.
You don't think so?
No.
I do. I think there's a chance
you're
Jones
wrong.
wins. But first, I think I'm the biggest Daniel Jones truther in the world. I don't know why, and I don't mean to be. But I mean,
Dude, I watched him for so long as the Giants quarterback. He got honestly, I think he got worse as the years went on. And I don't know if it's a psychological thing. I don't know if it's the injuries racking up, but he's a worse quarterback today than he was, I think, his rookie year.
yeah, I mean that playoff game and playoff win like changed the trajectory of his career. But I don't know. But I think it's bad process if you don't give Anthony Richardson a chance this year. You know, like if you want to be done after this year and trade him out for a third round pick to like he I feel like he is like New York Jets or Pittsburgh Steelers written all over him, and like next year, or the year after that, or something.
So he's Fields.
It's like he's pretty much the equivalent, maybe, but can actually throw the bomb as opposed to whatever Fields does, but he can't throw anything else. But it's just I don't know. I don't think you draft a quarterback that high to give up on him after effectively a rookie year. So
Especially when he's that young and inexperienced. Like you know there's gonna be growing pains there. So
I wonder the mental makeup, because that's something I listen to as well. It's somebody kind of said something once of like, we don't get to see these guys behind the scenes. We always expect players to take jumps in this and that, but like if you think about the people you work with on a daily basis, like there's a couple people you work with that are successful or good at have a career or a job, whatever it is, but like you just hate them because they don't apply themselves. They never give you wonder how much that is behind the scenes, and it petrified me when he said I was just tired and that's why I tapped out for a play. But I think he learned his lesson. Like you got benched for that. He's losing money for that. Like different thing. And so this offseason should be telling for him. But who knows? We'll see.
I mean, camp reports are that he is outperforming Jones. Like, so as far as I've read or heard, like there's really not much of a competition going on.
Yeah.
But who knows? Like the preseason games haven't started yet, so or for them at least. So
Right. Well, what are your thoughts and plans with the rest of the roster? Obviously, Gianti being there is great. You've mentioned many times Saquon on the block for the right price. You've got a couple other veterans that are there on the team, Mike Evans. And, I don't know that you'd call James Cook a veteran, but there's uncertainty around his contract and stuff like that. Nate, Vic, and I, again, the teams at the bottom, were basically saying anybody can be had within reason for X or Y. It feels like that probably is not the same theme that you have, though. But I know you're also always open to the conversations. What does your outlook look like as you move through the seasons in terms of maybe moving pieces or acquiring pieces?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely open to conversations. I don't think I have too many guys on my roster right now that like I wouldn't move for the right price. Like I probably wouldn't move Ibuka or Genti.
Right.
I mean, it would take a good amount to move them.
It would take basically the equivalent of the draft position plus, because why would you take an early first when you just used an early first kind of thing?
Right.
But
Exactly. Probably wouldn't move A-Rich or Williams for what they would cost. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I would move anyone for the right price. So it's just what's the right price, right?
yeah, just for funsies, because I feel like he is just with the contract that he signed with you, the cap space that you have, even still, what would it cost today for Saquon Barkley with you covering, let's just use a general phrase of the bulk of that $189 cap hit? For the record, no interest despite the jersey that I'm wearing because it's just, Tank City from here. And then I don't want to pay him that much money next year. But, theoretically, if a contender comes knocking, does a
You don't have
contender's
to pay him
first?
that much next year.
Huh? Well,
You don't have to pay him much next year. You have
Good.
it's a 1-year contract.
Well, yeah, but that's what I mean is like I've got the cap space for it, but I'm not. There's no reason for me to take a running back of that age with how much mud I have to crawl out of. But there are 5 or 6 or 7, or arguably 8 teams because the other, and I haven't talked to Alan. Alan's the other person I haven't talked to yet. But the other 7 have said, I'm trying to win this thing. My goal is the playoffs. There are 2 teams that are saying I'm going to the playoffs this year that are not going to the playoffs, and we just don't know who they are yet. And arguably, you could have been the third if you were saying I'm pushing for more than a toilet bowl. But if one of these teams comes knocking, where they're first, if giving them Saquon turns their picks late, is a first enough to get it done with you covering that cap?
No.
What is
A
it
late
look?
first and covering all that cap? No.
The bulk. Let's say the bulk.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
to,
saying
to make it
the bulk.
okay, just to give it a
Well,
general phrase.
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
189 is a
that-
lot, but if they were like, I can cut some people and I can get down to, and I'm going to send you this young player, I need you to cover 120 of it or something.
I mean, I guess it depends on what that player is and what their contract is, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. There's so many like moving pieces with some of these. Like it's really like just straight up a late first for $120 in Saquon. No, that's not enough.
Yeah.
But like if we get
Um,
into like talking some player swaps or something, like then
Young receiver with upside or
yeah, there's a little more room for flexibility. I think in that case, for me at least.
yeah.
Like because I mean I have to think about it 2 ways, right? Like one is I'm not going to move him just to move him if he's going to potentially help me get the first pick again.
Yeah, slaughter the yeah.
But then also like I also assign like value and like dollar values to like picks, right? So like I'm not about to pay $120 for a first round, like a late first, So
Yeah.
I don't know.
That kind of leads back to what I said in the league chat a while ago, which you said that you appreciated of, sometimes I feel like I'm like, yeah, man, I'll pay you. I'll add $30 of cap space to cover that if it does the deal today. Whereas you're like, I'm not paying you shit. Like, I'll do it for a third. It's like, well, can you cover half of it? Yeah, make it a second. Like, and you play hardball with it. Which respect. That's why you're in the
Sometimes.
situation that you're in, and you've got all the cap space, and your team's heading in a much more exciting direction than mine is. And I'm not saying you're a stickler
it
of
also
trades, by the way,
depends,
because
right?
you're a lot of fun to trade with, and the back and forth is always very productive and healthy. You just think you're more intelligent with the decisions you make regarding your cap. I think is the best way to say it, in comparison to me, who's like, yeah, $10, whatever.
I mean, I think it's just different philosophies.
Yeah,
I don't know about
that's true.
intelligent. Like I mean, if I'm losing out on a first and that first turns into, a top wide receiver 1 or something, like then I made a mistake, right? Like
Sure, yeah.
it's just different philosophies.
Well, I don't know if you saw, I got $5 in cap space out of Code the other day, no trade, so I'm a high roller now. So let's kind of wrap this up with the question that's kind of been the theme across everybody's. What is success for your team this season? Is it 101? It kind of, I feel like sitting here today, that's kind of what it's projected to be, right? But do you think there is another variable, or what does it look like for you?
I mean, really, it's setting myself up for success in the future, which is probably 101. But I mean, as long as this time next year, I feel better about the state of my roster and its future, I would say it was a successful year.
Yeah. Well, we're not awfully close. I guess we're less than a month now from the season beginning, so we'll be able to actually see how it all goes soon. So Any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, just go fuck yourself. Go Giants.
Okay. Go Birds. I was about to ask you, what do you think? What are your expectations for the Giants season? I think you and I agree. Don't play Dart at all this year, ideally, or like week 16, 17, 18 when it's over type thing, maybe. But what is your? Do you have a hot take? Do you have an optimistic take for the Giants coming season?
Well, it's best shape of his lifetime and camp hype. So, they're winning it all. So,
yeah, well, Super Bowl or bust for the Giants and 101 or bust for the Seawards.
I mean, it'll be bust, but hey.
Yeah. Well, it was good talking to you, Rick. Thanks for the time, and we'll see you in season.
Actual hot take. I think the Giants have one
go.
of the best defensive fronts in the league.
That's not a hot take. I agree. I mean, I hate the nickname Sexy Dexy. I just do. Maybe I'd like it if he was on my team or whatever. He's nuts. Thibodeau, Burns, and you guys didn't you just draft somebody else as well or something?
Abdul
stupid?
Carter.
Yeah, duh. Abdul Carter, and you took another interior defensive lineman in round 2, I think, or 3.
3, yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, I mean, that's the type of line that you just even though you're probably still gonna win the game. No offense, you're just like, oh fuck, we really have to deal with this for 60 minutes, or not 60, but you get the point.
Big Blue Wrecking Crew's back.
Yeah, at least that'll be fun to watch. At least you can. I'm not trying to shit on the Giants. I swear. I'm very direct when I am. But at least you have that. There have been some bad seasons that I've watched where just 2 years ago when the Eagles started 10-1 and just fell apart. There were some weeks I was like, why am I watching this game? And we lost the Buccaneers terribly in the playoffs. Yeah, I'm sure you were in heaven. I was just like, nothing's working. This is stupid. If I have to watch a 3rd and 10 draw to Hurts, I'm going to blow my brains out. There was nothing good happening. At least you can be like, okay, our D-line is ridiculous. And hopefully you can say, Dart is the guy, would be a nice sentiment coming out. And, if that's the case, give me all your first and I'll sell you Jackson Dart in the contract league. So I'll see what it is. The moment he plays and has a good game, your sleeper notifications are going to start getting exciting. It's just going to be gifts and stuff from me, and offers of your first for 3 years for Jackson Dart and Anthony Richardson.
Yep. And you're going to immediately get rejections.
I'm going to immediately get the usual responses to any of my trade offers to you of what are you thinking, or no, or something along those lines.
Or I'll switch it up a little and respond with an equally terrible trade, but favoring me.
You do that every once in a while, and that's always fun. That's always a gentle way to shut me down. So, all right, that does it for us for real this time. Good talking to you, Rick. We'll see you in season.
I guess.